Shalom, shalom. We just gonna continue continue with the camera cut off and such like that. Right. Let's get this is Jeremiah. Oh, actually I know what I want to say. This is 2 Peter 3:1. It says, "This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation." Right. So these people that aren't in the know, they don't see the Son of the Most High coming because they don't see the examples, and they're not hearing the examples told day by day, as we are, It says, "For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men." Right? Scripture where it's no, actually it should be in Peter's, where it says Romans, the Lafayette. This is Romans 15:4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." They say like the whole history, but it's like his story. Yeah, they say that the Edomites and Caucasians, they rewrote history, which they did. They changed the times and the ordinances, but the Most High, he kept this history for himself, you know, in the scriptures. You know, there's history in the scriptures, right, that we can look back and refer to, right? First Corinthians. This is First Corinthians. Let me see. This is 2 Corinthians 10:1. It says, "Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of YAHAWASHI, who in presence and base among you, being absent I am bold towards you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present, with the confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down the strongholds." And those strongholds are the lies and such like that don't profit, you know, to the corrupt doctrines out there, right? It says, "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi," right? "And bringeth into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahawashi, and having in readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled." Now, okay, now I'm going to, remember when I said that whole history and such like that? Mm-hmm. I know you're saying that the white man, he basically wrote history to make it fit himself. That's, you know, that's the whole rebirth, the Renaissance and such like that. But the Most High, he has his history in the scriptures, right? Which is accurate. That's why I brought this out shortly before you came back again. Romans 15. Romans 15:4 says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." Right? So what's really written aforetime when we're talking about these scriptures, that's really of value.
I want to break
right?
it down more for myself. You said Romans what?
15:4.
15:4. Let me see what this is. Alright, the version I got says, "Everything that people wrote in the Bible in past times is there to teach us something. Those words help us to be patient and strong."
What version are you reading from?
It's an easy version Bible. I like this one.
Okay.
It says,
Can you start at the top again?
"Everything that people wrote in the Bible in past times is there to teach us something. Those words help us to be patient and strong. As a result, we can trust God to do what He has promised."
Damn. The problem with that version is the difference in the because the King James is the closest to the Hebrew, right? To the Lashon Qadash that the Israelites were speaking, right? Which is the can you go to in your thing, go to Habakkuk 2?
Yeah.
I want to check something real quick.
Habakkuk. I like Habakkuk.
Habakkuk 2 and focus on 6.
Read that loud for you?
Alright.
"The people in all those countries will write a song that is against Babylon. They will say that its people are silly, and they will say other bad things about it. They will say, some people rob other people, and they keep what they take. A sad time will come to those people. Some people get a lot of money by the very bad things that they do. A sad time will come to those people. They will not always be able to do those things.
Now let me read the Habakkuk 2 and 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, and how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Right? Now, can you get from that, from your version, what that clay means?
But that's what I was saying earlier. Like me, when I'm reading the King James Version Bible, that's what I started out at, reading King James Version Bible. When I read the King James Version Bible, it doesn't give me any type of interest. I started getting interested reading the Bible when I was starting reading the Message version, because I understood that one more clearly. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with the King James Version Bible. It's very poetic. It has a nice little ring to it. Just me personally, I'm not into the King James Version Bible. It doesn't really help me in my day-to-day life when I'm reading that version.
But you're saying there's no problem with the King James Version.
There ain't no problem with it. I think it's great.
Now go to Revelation 13 and start at 9.
It's the real deep wire. Everyone who can understand should listen carefully to these words.
Okay.
Keep going. All right. If it is right for someone's enemy to catch him, that is what will happen. If it is right for someone's enemy to kill him with a sword, that is what will happen. This means that God's people must be patient and strong. They must continue to trust God.
Whoa, look, that's so off from what it says in the King James, which goes back to the true Hebrew and Greek that was written. It says Revelation 13 and 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. I don't have a problem with verse 9. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Because really, these other nations, they're going to have to go into captivity according to the scriptures. Right?
Okay.
So I would, to each their own, but I would stick to the King James because of the understanding of the prophecies.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't give me no new understanding. That's what I mean by that. It doesn't really resonate with me. I understand what you're saying. The easy version is very different from any other version I've ever read before. But I like this one. If anything, what I do is I really go more on the Message version and the Amplified version, and I do with the easy version. What about the Amplified? Is there anything?
I've never heard of it.
The Amplified version? I read the same thing. This is what 13 and 6, right? No, 13 and 9.
Alright, yeah, got it.
It says, if anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is destined for captivity, he will go into captivity. If anyone kills with a sword, he must be killed with a sword. Here is the call for the patient endurance and the faithfulness of the saints, which is seen in the response of God's people to difficult times.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
But see, when
but some of these things, the things in the scriptures, they're written for people not to understand. You know?
The secret, it helps. It keeps us safe when it's done that way.
Because if the Caucasians knew that this book was against them, they would have burned all the books.
But I don't think it's against them though.
You don't think so?
I don't think it's against them. I just look at what Jesus did as a savior for all of mankind as a whole. As man, as this man, period.
Now you can read. I can bring a scripture. You can read it from your version. You know, but I'm gonna break it down with the King James. You can read it with your version too. Okay.
All right.
This is Isaiah 14, and I'm gonna start at 1. It says, For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right? And the true understanding of that is that's the salvation, right? Because the Most High is going to take us from all the lands where He's gathered us, the nation of Israel, and bring us back to our land, right? And we're reconciled through the blood of YAHAWASHI, right? Which is who the world calls Jesus Christ. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. So there's going to have to be a certain people that are going into slavery under the Lord's chosen people, right? It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So the Israelites were in slavery. Now they're going to put the people that put them in slavery into slavery. It says, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb, right, which we was talking about in Habakkuk 2, against the king of Babylon, which Babylon the Great is America, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Right, because this is the golden city. This is the land of pleasure. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Right? If you want to get that in your version, or you want me to keep going.
What verse you stopped on?
Verse 5.
It says, for the Lord will have compassion on Jacob, the captives in Babylon, and will again choose Israel, and will settle them in their own land. Foreigners, Gentiles, will join them as proselytes.
Now, when it says that, that's really talking about the Israelite foreigners. It says, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right? Those are the Israelite foreigners coming back to the fold. Right?
All right. And it said, and will attach themselves to the house of Jacob, Israel. The peoples will take them along and bring them to their own place, Judea. And the house of Israel will possess them as an inheritance in the land of the Lord, as male and female servants. And they will take captive those whose captives they have been, and they will rule over their former oppressors. And it will be in the day when the Lord gives you rest from your pain and turmoil, and from the hard service in which you have been enslaved, that you will take up this taunt against the king of Babylon and say, how the oppressor has ceased his insolence, and how the fury has ceased. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the tyrant rulers.
Now, you said, so that's showing in the kingdom of heaven that there's going to be servants and handmaids.
Yeah.
Right? This is Psalms 2, and I'm going to start at 1. It says, why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? And it's vain to think that these heathens are going to have salvation. It says, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us, because they try to wipe away the nation of Israel, the Negro, Latino, and Native American.
But who did that? Like, who are you saying did that?
Okay, I got it. This is Psalms 83. Psalms 83 and 1. It says, keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Right? For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, which we know are the Caucasians, right? And the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs. No, it says of Moab, the Chinese, and the Hagarenes, the different Ishmaelites. Jabal and Ammon, the Ammonites, Amalek, which is the fake Jews, which is the chief tribe of the nation of Esau. It says the Philistines, which are the Africans, right, the Hamites, and the inhabitants of Tyre. It says Asar also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Selah. Right? So it names all these different heathen nations. Right? Even this is, and you said that they took different books from the Bible, right?
They did. That whole Bible isn't the whole Bible.
Well, this is the 1611 version where it has the Apocrypha in it. Have you heard of the Apocrypha?
No, I haven't.
Well, there was a period of time where we was under Greek captivity during, Ezra, the book of Ezra, right? Which is the same. It's in the Old Testament. Well, there's well, he has more written than what they think, because they didn't. There's different scholars that took this out because it's incriminating to the other heathen nations. Right? This is 2nd Ezra 6. Second Ezra 6 and 54. It says, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. Right? And it's not there was a multitude of people created. It wasn't just one person, but there was a chosen Adam from that group. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, but he also fell. Fast, easy.
He fell.
Like
What?
it was nothing.
What you mean he fell?
Like it was nothing. The whole Adam and Eve story, how that went. Like how easy he was.
Basically the woman basically made him transgress.
Oh, nah, she didn't make him. Well, what happened was, dude, he didn't have to eat it. When she ate it, nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. Nothing changed until Adam did it.
Let me show you something. This is Sirach 25 and 24. It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. This is Sirach 25 and I'm going to start at 13. It says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, which is of the mind, right? And any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman, and any affliction but the affliction of them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies.
You said the heart is the mind?
Yeah, it says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, which is talking about the mind.
So the mind would be the heart.
Because if you go back to the Hebrew, the Hebrew word for heart is lab, which means mind, which is talking about the brain.
But the brain can only do so much. The brain only has so much power.
The brain controls your body. It's like it's like a nucleus in a cell. It's the one that's pushing the orders.
In the regular way, yeah, that is true. But
it's just pushing blood. That's all. That's the only thing that
I know that. But I'm talking. See, my interpretation of it is the spirit controls the mind, and the mind controls the body.
But the spirit is in the mind.
The spirit. I don't let my mind control anything. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, we have two different understandings of the same thing. Because you do let your mind control certain things. Nah, I don't let my mind control anything. It has thoughts,
but your mind is of the spirit, you know.
My spirit and my mind are two two separate things in itself. They're not the same thing for me. My spirit, I listen to because my spirit is actually me. This little thing right here.
Yeah, because there's
this,
demons can affect your mind. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But demons, not even that. Demons, they're so far. Demons are so far away from me. This craziness. They don't want no parts of me at all. I see your face. I mean,
because even a demon can be a lying spirit.
Which is fine, but I
so
know
you could be lying to somebody and not know it, but still have that demon on you.
Nah, I'll never have no demon on me. Demons flee from me.
That's pride.
That's not pride. That's truth. They run from you. Demons can not affect me at all. Not even the slightest bit. I give them no type of power. Demons ain't nothing but fallen angels, and fallen angels are angels, and they serve me anyway.
No, that's even going into the Christian false doctrine.
That's
where it says cast away into chains of darkness in the scriptures. That's we are those angels.
We're not angels. Well, I'm not no angel. Let me put it that way. I'm not gonna put you and me in the same category. I can't deny the stuff that I went through. I'm not, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you or debate with what you're believing in, because then that goes against what I believe in. I don't go against people that believe in. We both serving the same God. It's the same one we both believe in. The same one we pray to.
There's only one God, and you don't know Him.
Now you insulting.
I'm not insulting. I'm just telling you the truth.
You are insulting my spirit by telling me. So
I'm trying to get you closer to the Most High.
I'm close. I'm very close to my God. That's the thing.
So you telling me you're a prophet?
Nah, I don't want to be a prophet.
Look, this is.
I mean, you can read it all day long, bro. Like, you can go back and forth with it. The thing about it is, I have personal experiences. I'm not the scriptures at all. I'll never do that. I'll never say the scriptures isn't truth at all. But I have my personal experience with God. The things He showed me, what we talked about, how He came to me, how He got me from this place to that place. It's a beautiful thing for me.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 7 verse. I'm going to start at 24 and skip down. It says, for wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. Right? I'm going to skip to 27. It says, and being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of God and prophets. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. So if the Most High really cared for you, He would give you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But she's reaching His hand out to you right now. Right?
He also to ask for it too. Did He not also say to ask for it?
Ask for it?
If any man needs use of wisdom, ask for it, and the Father will give it to him freely.
So what? You might have asked for him. That's why you're here now. This is the true wisdom of the Heavenly Father.
I'm not knocking some stuff you're saying, but the thing about it is I'm not going to go against my personal experience with God. Like, that's one thing that nobody in this world can take that away. No demon, they can't take that from me. They can't take my conversations from me. That's the thing that can't be taken from me.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 21. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness hath blinded them. As for the mysteries of God, they knew them not, neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, nor discern a reward for blameless souls. Right?
They knew nothing back then. They didn't know.
At the same time, people don't know today.
Yeah, they don't know today.
But we do.
We do. So that's on them. If they don't want to take the time out to talk to them, search them out, seek them, then that's their problem.
Okay, so what's the beast in the Revelation?
The beast? No, I don't know.
Okay, so
but that's what I'm saying.
That's a mystery.
That can be a mystery, and it can be, but that doesn't concern me.
It doesn't concern you, but at the same time, prophecy concerns everybody.
It does, but that portion right there doesn't concern me. I'm on a different route. He got me doing something totally different. The things that I'm doing, nobody's going to
so what's your gift? What's your gift?
I have the gift of music. Very talented music. I'm very good at that. That's what he gave me. He told me to go out there and do it with music, but also do it. It's a nice way he got me doing it. And it's very interesting and very intriguing. That's why like I said, I like doing it because I rarely, this is probably like the second time in my life I'm able to have a conversation like this. It doesn't happen to me very often. So to me, this is a gift given to me from God. Because he knows how much I enjoy this.
Even, let me get this real quick, because you was talking about like demons can't enter into, or like you saying that demons can't go into the mind or stuff like that.
My mind. I'm not saying the mind. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about as a whole in general.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 14. It says, or let me start at 13. It says, "For what man is he that can know the counsel of the Most High, or who can think what the will of the Lord is?" Right. So how you gonna tell the Most High what your gift is?
Because he made me the Most High.
Or such like that, huh?
Because he made me the Most High.
How can he make you the Most High?
Alright, so
he's the only one.
This is the thing. The Father is in the Son, and the Son is in the Father, correct?
They're in agreement.
Not the Father.
They're not together. They're not the same entity.
I know they're not the same entity, but the Father is in the Son. I'm just repeating.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The Father's in the Son, the Son is in the Father, right?
You're talking about the Holy Trinity?
Yeah, all
well, the
that.
Trinity was added in the scriptures. Do you know that? That was actually man adding those words in there.
How? All right, fine. Even if they did do that, why is it, and you can't see me, all right, why is it that I'm able to live a life of luxury? That's what I'm getting to you right now. Like, what you're reading, what you're preaching, out here doing what you're doing right now, I applaud you for that. But at the very same time, I live a beautiful life with God. It's amazing to me. I mean, you can read scripture after scripture after scripture and go in and go in and go out. But at the very same time, I'm going to keep it going, keep it flowing.
Okay, this is Psalms 73 and 12. "Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches." Right? That money, it doesn't matter to us.
I wasn't talking about money. You assume. Obviously, that's the thing.
You saying through the wisdom and knowledge?
As a whole, it ain't just one thing. It's everything. It's money, knowledge, wisdom, love, just the giftness of family, being able to talk to people in a certain way, slow to anger, the little things that I've learned over the years of what he's taught me, how to live a comfortable life. I'm free in the mind.
But why didn't he give you prudence?
What's the meaning of prudence?
Going for the things of the future.
I am.
You know? You are, but why don't you know the prophecies?
Because the prophecy that you're talking about is not meant for me to go do that. I'm not interested in that. I've never been, because
okay,
right now,
so in the scriptures it says America's gonna be destroyed. So how you gonna be saved from that?
I'm good.
How?
Because I have a legion of angels behind me, ready to go at any point in time.
Okay. Let me get this real quick. Right here. Wait.
They have some more sex.
There's a scripture I can't find it right now. You know what? I should